Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Pedal Talk. And about a month ago, 2 months ago, we sat down with Thad Eby, who is the head of and the founder of the Wild West Gravel, a 3-day gravel bikepacking event that goes from Colorado into Wyoming, and got a chance to talk to him. And he's back with us today because last weekend was that event. Also joining us is Lucas Clark. And he was the MC of the event, rode the event while he was MCing it. I don't know how you recover and are able to hold your own doing that, but that's pretty awesome. But apparently he's got a little bit of endurance background because he just finished this year.
Yeah.
He Race Across America Pairs Edition. What do they call that? It's not the Pairs Edition. What do they call that when you
two-person team?
Two-person team.
Yep.
That was pretty simple. But they're joining us because we wanted to recap the event, and I wanted to find out myself a little bit more about it, and I wanted to share it with everybody out there. So welcome, guys, and I'm just going to throw it right over to you. How was it? How'd everything go?
Well, obviously, thank you so much, Gary, for having us back. And first of all, I want to say it was pretty exciting to partner up with Lucas on this. His background is that of an endurance athlete, but hadn't had a lot of experience bikepacking, and I come at it with zero endurance. I could probably ride 5 miles, but I love to bike pack in my backyard at 5 miles. And so, the two of us to be able to come together on this event was fun. I mean, it was definitely, I think, exceeded our expectations. I haven't quite caught up with all my sleep yet, but it was definitely a pretty good experience. Now, I'm a little biased because, one, I was behind the scenes. I will turn it over to Lucas, who actually got a chance to ride it all, and he can speak to what it was like as a rider.
Yeah. Thanks, Gary, for having us on. This was actually my first bikepacking adventure. I've done some gravel races. I've done Race Across America, as you mentioned. Lots of stuff in the time trial and crit scene here in Colorado. But the thing that was really appealing to me about Wild West Gravel that Thad sort of thought of this really great idea was really kind of a couple of things. One, the community aspect of doing an event together, not a race, right? It's even though we have set courses and different options for people, it's really about taking the time to enjoy the beauty of northern Colorado and southern Wyoming, and to do different events like camping. And then we had a band and a party on Saturday night. We had amazing food, amazing breakfast. So it's really time for people who enjoy the outdoors, who enjoy cycling, to kind of dabble in bike packing. You could fully load your bike up and ride it out fully loaded. We also had a sherpa option where you put your bag and tent into a truck, take a bunch of other stuff on your bike with you and ride it out. And it made it really accessible and fun to everybody. Even for me, who's been cycling for a really long time, it was a breath of fresh air to be able to do something different in the cycling space that I had never done before, and just have a blast doing it. I had a smile ear to ear, and I think everybody that I talked to along the route and along the rides felt the same way. And it was a real sense of camaraderie and community that we built out there for this edition of Wild West Gravel.
How many miles total was it? I know there were some different options along the way. If I remember right, a couple of the days you could do different lengths on your ride.
Correct.
Just basically, how many miles was it total?
Yeah, so you had to do about 66 miles to get from Livermore to Woods Landing, and then another 65, 68, coming back. So that's around 120, 130 was sort of the base set, and then you had three different ride options on that Saturday. One was a 70-mile option. We had a 60-mile option, and then a 40-mile option for the day. So you could end up at about 200 for the weekend if you wanted to really stretch it out. But you're going to be somewhere in that range of 150, 160 to 200, depending on what you wanted to do on Saturday and choosing those different options.
So what was how many people did you have? How many were there?
Yeah, so it ended up being a pretty intimate experience. We ended up having a total of 48 people on the bikes, so just shy of 50. But you got to remember, taking 50 people, moving all their stuff, and you're literally taking a little campment from one location to the next. It was a good experience for the first time when we really made this, what I would call professional in the way that we delivered it. So it was a really good audience. It was enough to be intimate, but still enough to get lost in the crowd if you needed to.
So what were some of the highlights?
Oh man, first of all, we had some amazing.
I like it. Dad's already laughing. He's already got one popped into his head.
Oh no, I mean actually, I every day is so unique and so special. It's not the same ride, one day over the next, and I think that's one of the things about the highlights. So my laugh is really more about where do I start? On my end.
So many highlights.
Yeah. Lucas, you take it away with Friday. I'll talk about Saturday, but you got to do Friday and Sunday.
Yeah, so Friday, first of all, we had gorgeous weather. We kind of had a light wind, a light breeze, but the sort of meandering nature of this route from Livermore to Woods Landing, takes us up over some higher passes, but you get these amazing vistas of really some very, very rural farmland, right? That not a lot of these roads get ridden on or driven on, and not a lot of car traffic either. So that was one huge highlight that I heard from everybody else on this adventure was nobody had ridden any of these roads before, and they were just in awe of the views. There's one part where you come over the pass and it just sort of opens up and you have this really wide valley, and the sun was sort of beaming across the valley, and it was just it was absolutely magical on that Friday. And then you descend down into Woods Landing, which Woods Landing has been a national historic landmark and a dance hall since the 1890s. So it's this little outpost about 25 minutes, 30 minutes south of Laramie, southwest of Laramie, right along the big Laramie River. And so you have this beautiful, sort of tree laden, river side with this, great dance hall, bar, restaurant. That's sort of the anchor point of where we were camping, and all these little cabins that people were staying in as well, which is all made it part of that sort of really Western focused experience. So just those things alone, that was just Friday, were some of the big highlights. Almost everybody had never been to Woods Landing before. So seeing that and seeing that sort of fun sort of outpost of the West was a huge highlight for a lot of folks.
And Saturday.
Well, it's funny is Lucas brings up the weather. I cannot extenuate how awesome the weather is in this part of Colorado in September. We really were quite lucky. We had one minor little, what I would call kind of this afternoon storm as we were eating dinner, which made it kind of fun because the way that we set up camp is it was, all inclusive. You had your breakfast, you had, fully stocked 8 stops, sponsored by one of our partners, Scratch. So you had all your nutrition and fuel ready to go for everyone. But on Saturday, you had kind of this option of either making it super easy or making it a challenging, fun, exciting day. And so we did something special for all the attendees. The thing with Woods Landing is Lucas kind of pointed out, it's the big Laramie River Valley. And so because it's kind of in this valley, the only way you can leave Woods Landing is by climbing uphill. Mm-hmm. And that uphill is going to be, I would say it's overly aggressive, but Saturday's rides all started with an 8-mile climb, about 1,500 feet of climbing to get to the Medicine Bow Rail Trail. So for those that we optioned, we gave them a shuttle that they could actually take from the base of Woods Landing right to the top of the rail trail. So imagine you're getting dropped off into a gravel mecca in a nice warm vehicle. You've had, we did a buffet that day. We started with an oatmeal bar or still cut oats and bar, and whatever you could throw in it, you could basically make up for your meal. So that was probably one of the greatest parts about it is people were able to start as hard or as simple as they wanted to. And then your choices was everything from backcountry rail trails to a mountain pass called the Snowy Peak Range that literally looks like it's covered in snow, but it's the rock formations. And then there's this beautiful alpine lake that sits at about almost 12,000 feet, perfectly crystal clear water. And it's a view that you only really can appreciate after you've traveled through it. We hit a ghost town, halfway through that the only way you can get to it is through these really, gnarly Jeep roads, but you're on your bike, so it's okay. I think the final part was when we all landed into this place called the Bear Bottom Inn, where I think everybody that had left either early morning or later in the day, we were all there at one time. And the Bear Bottom Inn's great because it's got this open area. We had food brought in for everyone, drinks, and it was just this kind of great camaraderie of did something significant and special, saw something that most people have never even heard of, and we're all here experiencing this together. So I would say it's a combination of all the things that we kind of put together to create that amazing experience. And that's not even getting into the nighttime entertainment that took place Saturday night, where Lucas actually got on drums and completely was able to take over and dominate the dance floor, which the dance floor itself is really special. As Lucas pointed out, it was built in the 1890s, but it's built on 16 boxcar springs. And so you're literally on a wooden trampoline as you're dancing. And so it's just a...
You had a band? Hold it, you had a band?
Yeah, we had a band. Yeah, Graham Good and the Painters, a band out of Loveland, Colorado, came up and played from 7th after dinner till 10:30, and there were people from the town that came out and from the community, along with the people from the bike event. And it was a hoot and holler and good time. And yes, I do play the drums, so I asked Graham if I could play on one song, and he let me jump on there and play. So.
Oh, well, we got to hook up because I play bass.
Oh, there you go. we can start a bike band right now.
We could.
Yeah.
And just so if you don't know that, bass and drums, we run the band.
We
Most
run the back.
Don't know it.
Yeah.
But if I walk off the stage, there's no music. If he walks off the stage, I'm just thumping.
Yeah.
So,
and then you're just left with a cappella at that point, right? Which we don't know how that goes. So. And
we've never figured out how why guitar players grimace.
Right.
Why do these guys grimace and they're in pain? And, we're the ones working.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry, I digressed.
No. It's a fun point. It adds to all the fun of the event.
Yeah, but Gary, seriously, give the plug, because we're definitely on for next year. We are trying to think what we want to do for our entertainment. So if there's a band that we could put together, I don't know how you'd feel after doing a bike ride and then playing that night, but certainly it's definitely on the table. So we have to put that together.
When you look at it, I could play bass after running a marathon. Because all you do is you stand, you use these two fingers, this hand to hold, on the frets, and a little bit of head bob. That's it. That's why you never see air bass contests. Because all we'd be doing, hey, he's doing a great head bob. That is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Now, I could bike all day and play bass at night, easy. And I've done that before when I was on a worship team church that I was at in Colorado Springs.
Amazing. Yeah,
I've done 123 miles during the day, and then I play 2 services at night.
Well, I feel like we've got 2 out of the 4 members of the Wild West Gravel Band for the next year's show.
I'll play the cymbals. So put me down for cymbals.
Yeah.
Maracas. We need a maraca player.
I'm your maraca guy. I'm all.
Oh my God, we really are digressing on this one.
The music was definitely a highlight, though, for sure. Gary.
That's fun. I think that sounds like way too much fun.
Well, and it's one of those things that brings the group together, brings the community together. So
So you have that both nights?
Just Saturday night. Saturday night. Friday night, we had we played some games. We had a campfire, a big bonfire. It was still a very fun community event. But the focus of that Saturday evening was, hey, we just accomplished this big ride. There's these big loops. Saw some amazing vistas, and then we had some time to chill before dinner started, and then the band started. But it kind of really anchored it as a great sort of Saturday night activity and a great point for the whole event. And really, once again, leaning on having fun, building community, riding bikes. That all kind of works with having a band and having some live music. So.
Well, this is coming out to be going to be one of my biggest regrets of the year is not being there now. After hearing about this, I was afraid that was going to happen after having you guys, when I'd have you guys on for the recap. It's like, I'm going to be in so regret that I didn't take that weekend to do this.
Well, next year, Gary, you're going to be there playing the bass.
I'll be there.
The good news is we got our bass players, so that's a great thing.
And then I'd say it's for Sunday, once again, we went a different route on the way back, Gary. So we just cover our same tracks, on the way out. We went over Dead Man Pass, which is a very beautiful sort of tree laden, but yet the trees open up to these beautiful vistas. Pretty hard climb. It's a 7.5 mile, 8 mile climb at 4 or 5%, but really kind of just cuts through the valley. And then we went through Red Feather Lakes, stopped at a general store to get some ice cream. I had a great feed stop there, and then kind of just rolled down, because you're pretty high. almost 10,000 feet, 9,000 feet, and then rolled down back to Livermore on some pavement, on some roads there. But once again, getting some beautiful views of the northern part of Colorado as you're doing that, as you're sort of like descending down into that. So yeah, really, once again, in terms of views and vistas and beautiful weather and like fun camaraderie and conversations and things like that, talking to people and meeting new people who are all really into gravel and or bike packing, or maybe this was their first bike packing event like me or some other people that were out there. Really kind of just brought everybody together from a community standpoint.
So you was first time. How many other first timers did you have? How many rookies?
So it's interesting because we had this option where you could do a Sherpa, where we take care of, you basically fill a bag as full as you can fill it. We'll get it to Woods Landing, so you don't have to worry about it. And it's funny, when Lucas and I were kind of like putting things together, I think we originally thought there'd be a lot more people that would run loaded, so they would have all their bags with them. Yeah. We ended up having 2 people that didn't sign up for the Sherpa service, and by the end of the weekend, they were all using the Sherpa service. So it ended up being a really good program where, going into it. Now, I say that when I look at the people that have done like an overnight bike packing camp, I would say a majority of them hadn't done a similar experience before. And there'd probably been a handful, maybe 10 or so, that had gone from, had a similar experience. So pretty high percentage was first time for them, opening them up to new roads and to a new experience.
That sounds awesome. So of that, let me ask you this. Type of bikes, obviously everybody's got a gravel bike. Were you seeing a lot that had 2 chain rings in the front, or most people have one, like a cross bike?
I'd say it was maybe 40% had a double in the front. A lot of people had single chain rings. A lot of people had some big gearing too. I ride a Rodeo Labs gravel bike, and I have a 1x, but in the back it's a 1052 on a GXS or AXS, and there was a couple people that had that same setup too. So a lot of people were running good gears where if they were fully loaded, or they had some load on the back, because a lot of people did have bags in their bikes. Maybe they just didn't have their tent and things like that. They were able to get up some of the steeper bits as well.
We did have one.
My bike is a checkpoint, and that's what I'd probably be taking 2 on, something like that, because it's got, my gravel has 2 chain rings in the front. Checkpoint, I guess the Trek checkpoint went to a single chain ring now. Mm-hmm. But I was just curious for bike packing, because like I said, I've never done it. Do most people run in a single or a double?
I think they just want a big gear ratio. So as long as they can get to a big gear ratio, then if a double makes a lot of sense. If you can't get a big, something bigger than a 40 in your back cassette.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That go ahead.
No, I completely know this thing. I was going to say there was one guy who actually, his name was Kevin. He actually won our Spirit of the Gravel Award. So one thing we did as well is we were sponsored by LaCole, which is it makes some awesome kits and awesome equipment and apparel. And they just came out with a brand new gravel kit. You're gonna have to help me out with this, Lucas. Keep me honest on it.
The Arc gravel line, yeah.
So I haven't had a chance to try it, but it's brand new. And everything I've been reading about it sounds amazing and awesome. But that being said, we ended up having these awards. So we had the Grit Award, the Spirit of Gravel Award. We had the strongest community who's kind of made the biggest impact. And there was this one guy on the ride. His name was Kevin. And I swear he was on a steel framed, almost road bike with, was it 32?
32s and caliper brakes.
Yeah, and caliper brakes. And he was able, the best part is he was right there with us. We had the Buffalo course, which was kind of the hard course on Saturday. And he was right there with us. So you certainly one of those pieces around, I think, Lance said it best. It's not about the bike. And, certainly we saw that through all gravels of people using things out there on their course.
Yeah, I mean, I had 2.3 650B, Mezcal, only big, thick mountain bike tires. And Kevin was right there with me riding along, on his 32s. He was on, Gravel King 32s with his caliper brakes. And he was just, this was his first gravel event total. Like he'd done some rides on gravel, but he'd never signed up for an event. And yeah, he was smiling ear to ear for the whole thing. So he won the LaCole Arc kit for the Spirit of Gravel Award for the event as well.
Cool. So you had Spirit Gravel Award. What other awards?
We had a Grit Award, which went to. We actually had to go to two ladies that one of which was on flat pedals, and she once again relatively new to gravel cycling, and she did the whole thing on flat pedals, and she was slow, but she was also smiling the entire time and taking in all the beauty of the ride as well. So and then we had another woman who really challenged herself to do the elk route, which was the sort of the B option on Saturday. And that ended up being her longest bike ride, her longest gravel bike ride ever, which was fantastic.
I think it is so cool that you've got the different options. So it isn't just one, oh my gosh, can I conquer this thing? You can still enjoy the trip, enjoy it all and have those options on, especially on the center day on Saturday. I think that is awesome. When do you give the awards out? When was that given?
So we did the awards Saturday night before the band started. So got everybody together and gave those awards. And once again, completely subjective from an award standpoint, which is great because we were out there, we were talking to people, and just kind of the stories that came from the event really dictated how the awards got distributed.
What other memories? What other things stick out in your head? I'm into fun memories.
Oh man. Well, I mean, so the one thing I will share with you is, for us, it was, I love food, right? And so I'll share with you, the one thing that was really important for us is that we found a menu that would work for cyclists. And the thing with a cyclist, you can have everything from a pescatarian to a vegetarian to somebody who eats everything. So how do you create a meal that is going to allow for people to really get what they need for the nourishment to be able to finish, a 67-mile ride with 6,000 feet of climbing and still feel sustainable. So I will share with you, the food for us was like one of the best things to put together. And so Lucas and I, we did a ride back in July, and we're like, all right, what can we make? And so first night we had these basically rice bowls with salad to, chicken and salmon and tofu. And it was really built so that you could add whatever you wanted. So if you had any allergies or anything you wanted to be able to pull into it. And then on Saturday, we're like, all right, what would go great with you're down home, sitting on a fire, what would work? And we actually ended up doing a baked potato bar. And it included not only tofu and salmon to go with that baked potato, but we also brought in smoked brisket.
Did he just freeze up?
Thad, you just froze up. So the baked potato bar was very similar in terms of how we put it together. Very, very cool buffet style, right? You have the potato, and the people at Was Landing smoked brisket, and so we had baked potato.
Oh, dude,
smoked brisket. Yeah, I know, Gary. Your FOMO is going to hit pretty hard. The smoked brisket was unbelievable. It went on top of the baked potato, and then you had cheese, and you had vegetables, and everything like butter, and so people were loving the baked potatoes. And we did the similar thing for breakfast too. We had. On the Sunday morning, we did breakfast burritos, breakfast tacos with egg, beans. You could put up, once again, go through down the line, make it yourself. Really made for a great experience because people were able to get exactly what they wanted from a food standpoint, make it as spicy as they want or not as spicy, and or as many toppings as they'd like, and really kind of highlighted that from a food standpoint. Once again, Thad and I are both really into food. I might come from a restaurant background, and wanted to make sure that the food on this experience was top notch and better than any other ride race event that we had ever been a part of. So that was mission accomplished there from what we've heard.
I'm still on smoked brisket potatoes.
Yeah.
So I didn't really hear anything after that.
Yeah, imagine doing your 70 plus mile bike ride. You get back, you're chilling, you go sit in the river for a little bit, you're having a beer. Or a LaCroix, and then you're coming over and you're getting your baked potato and your brisket, and then you're going and playing or watching the band, right? Like that's sort of really encompasses the experience at Wild West Gravel.
Oh my gosh, I will so be there next year. Is it too early to sign up now?
No, we still need to change the dates on the website. So once we do that, we'll be at.
The second you do that, I'll change them on our page, and we'll just declare ourselves a sponsor, and we'll just go from there.
There you go.
Oh, we'd love that. We'd love that. And I think one thing too, I'll point out is Lucas brought up the ride on Sunday, And you're climbing up Dead Man Pass, which is that 7-mile pass. Imagine having one of the most beautiful 270-degree vista view on some of the nicest gravel and a nice, almost an enchanted forest. Not a single car passed any of our riders.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that's pretty special with this part of the world where we're in, because you have these beautiful areas, manicured roads, and then there's zero traffic. And that really helped. Now, that's not to say on the downside, going back into Red Feather, we're on, asphalt and certainly through a highway, but, to be able to do a climb like that completely untouched by any sort of civilization really will make you think and give you another perspective in life.
That sounds absolutely awesome. The idea of
your experience, Gary,
it's a little slice of heaven. Anything else you guys want to share before we call it a week?
Gary, I think the only thing I would comment on is, this is something that's kind of built with the community. So I think every time we bring in somebody new, it gives us a new aspect and a new frame of reference. So, obviously, if anybody in the Pedal Talk community that, this sounds like interesting, get a hold of us. We're not so big that we don't answer our own questions. We do have a group on Strava. So if you want to be able to join, we certainly do. Yeah. Wild West Gravel on Strava. We are going to be doing a ride. The date we agreed on that, Lucas, is it Sunday, September 22nd?
Yeah. So Sunday, September, is it 23rd or 22nd? The Sunday.
Terrible with dates. I know it's in 2 weeks.
22nd. Sunday,
do you guys
Sunday
have a
22nd.
Facebook page?
We don't have a Facebook page yet, but we can definitely.
Because one of the things that we did, and I'll just share, and this is not a plug, this is just a discussion, but one of the coolest things that I think I've done with Colorado Avid Cyclist was put together, we've got a basic Facebook page, and then we put together a group page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that thing has grown at an average of 10 a day. And it's one that people can post whatever they want. And I think Thad just froze again. So, he is moving. But what's cool is, and this is the reason why I say that, I encourage you, when you guys get dates out, that thing is there. It's the one thing I don't ask people to post. If it's a retail store, don't post stuff about your store. But other than that, any kind of event, any news, anything you want, A, we'll put it on our regular Facebook page. B, we'll put it on our events page on CAC. But also feel free to post it on the group page.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's there for. It's to post anything. If somebody wants to put together a group ride, if your event is live on your website, throw it out there. That's what it's there for. It's meant to promote anything other than just retail sales.
Amazing. Okay.
And that's what it's for. So please, and I would consider doing that. Just make it for your, start it as a chat kind of a page where people can have fun and post pictures of gravel rides, whatever, leading up to your event. It really is fun to have those.
Absolutely. Great suggestion.
But yeah, as soon as you get anything about it and you set a new date, man, pop it on. Feel free to go to Colorado Avid Cyclist, the group, my clever name for that, and throw it up there.
I want to join the group right now.
Cool. Love to have you. But no, I'm psyched. I've got the total regret. I'm having, and it's not buyer's remorse, it's non-buyer's remorse. Seriously, I was thinking about doing it. I just knew I wasn't going to be in the shape for it. I would have been probably begging for an e-bike, and I've never ridden one. But now I'm finally getting in pretty good shape, doing about 150 to 180 a week. But God, I wish I would have been there. That just sounds like too much fun.
Well, next year we got you. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, and I'll make sure my base is on the Sherpa trip.
There we go.
Definitely make sure we get that base in there. No problem, Gary.
Yeah.
It's got a soft case, so it won't, it's easier to pack.
Yeah, it would be all good.
Well, guys, it has been awesome chatting with you and catch up.
Absolutely.
And I know that Thad and I are talking about having another podcast about gravel rides and beer. So we're going to get on with that one.
I was very much looking forward to listening to that one for sure.
It should be good. It's a pairing. It's kind of the pairing gravel. The idea is pairing gravel rides and a good beer pub to go to afterwards.
And I hope you guys will drink each one of those beers on the podcast, and then so the podcast will get progressively more fun as it goes along for the
I
hours.
like him. He has good ideas.
Yeah.
Lucas has got not only a man of many talents, but he's got good ideas that come with it, which is actually, usually you don't get the combination when you get
Thanks, Dad. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So,
well, Gary, thanks so much for having us on Pedal Talk. We love being a part of it, and looking forward to riding and playing some music soon.
Yes, bike and bands. That sounds great. We'll have great, and looking forward to it. And everybody out there, just keep pedaling with power and have a great weekend.
Ready? Enjoy. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks.